some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
What up, folks? Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are streaming live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, on Twitter, and on Instagram. I'm your boy Trey Frazier, and that's the homie right there, Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, bro? How was your week?
Man, cooling, man. I can't complain. Man.
Yep.
Hot as hell. White man working me, but you know.
Hey, bro.
For the greater good.
It was so nice out today. I had to go take the kids around the corner to the park and, get some shots up and enjoy this weather, man, because it seems like I've been working from home for a while now. And I'm just like, I just gotta, get some, get a little bit more sunlight than what I've been, getting lately.
For sure.
So, so that was dope, be able to get some shots up at the park and, just cooling, man. It's been a good week. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got a good one tonight. Got a special guest coming through. Jael Rucker, who is a sports writer for Medium.com and for the Sporting News, and she's gonna, come on and talk about this series that she's writing right now, which is on Medium.com, related to Michael Jackson. We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, she's also a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. And as you and I know, Maestro, the Cavs are sitting pretty at the top of the Eastern Conference right now.
Yep.
So we'll kind of get a Cavs fans perspective on, how the season's going far. It's funny because last week you asked me about the Cavs and, how I felt about them as a team.
Yeah, about to bring it right back up.
And yeah, I'm gonna bring it back up, but after really kind of sitting on it, I'm kind of like, you know what? This feels a little different because I said this was like OKC last year. Like OKC just, came out of nowhere, young team, got the 1 seed and got knocked out, in the second round. I don't know. This team feels like this is not a perfect comparison, so don't jump out of your seat. But I feel like this was when Mark Jackson coached that final game with the Warriors, and then they got Steve Kerr, and then the Warriors just kind of ascended from that point on, and then they went on to, win the championship, albeit didn't face, the best of the competition en route there. But I feel like this is that sort of same trajectory where this is a Cavs team that's been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. Actually won around last year compared to the previous year. They let go of Bickerstaff, which I didn't agree with at the time. They bring in Kenny Atkinson, who, folks have been clamoring to get a head coaching gig since he left Brooklyn. And now he's got this team like on another level. Like Evan Mobley is playing so much better. Jared Allen as a big is playing so much better. And, we don't need to say much about Donovan Mitchell because, he's that dude. He's always going to be that dude. But some of these other cats that, have been on the team have sort of upped their games over the course of, 2-3 seasons now. And then they get the DeAndre Hunter thing going. So they get that trade, and now they got a wing that could come off the bench for them and be able to, put some points up at the same time, play some defense, that kind of a thing. So I'm kind of changing my tune on the Cavs a little bit. It's just a question of, can they beat Boston? I think that's the one question for Cleveland as we kind of, finish out the regular season and we go into the postseason. I think that's the one thing is, can they beat the Celtics when it counts?
Do you think they could beat the Knicks when it counts? Because I noticed you left your team out.
That's we needless to say, bro, it has not been a great weekend for the Knicks. I feel like just to give you a comparison, I felt like over the weekend what you felt about Pittsburgh, those last 3-4 games of the regular season, where you're facing the big dogs, right? If you're gonna go someplace, these are the teams that you're gonna have to run into to get to where you got to go.
Right.
Pittsburgh, it was Kansas City, it was the Ravens, it was the Eagles. Those were the teams at the top. For the Knicks, it's Cleveland, who we played Friday night. It was Boston, who we played Sunday afternoon, and we played OKC maybe a couple weeks, prior to that. And I mean, not only are we losing these games, bro, we getting smashed, bro. Pause. We are getting it handed to us. And for as much as people say this is the best Knicks start in almost 30-something years, and record-wise, the best start through the amount of games that we've played already in 30 years. I mean, against the top teams that people talk about, Boston, Cleveland, OKC, 0-7, margin of loss for the Knicks is, it's wild, man. They didn't have a good week, but I'm not going to panic like other Knicks fans have been kind of panicking this week, because this team is not whole yet. This team is not fully healthy. Mitchell Robinson has been getting some action. He's been, getting some one-on-ones in. He's, in practice. And matter of fact, I just saw something where he's slated to play in the Memphis game, which is coming up in a few games, I think sometime next week. So I think if we get Mitch back, I think it's going to put Karl Anthony Towns in a situation like he was in Minnesota, playing alongside Rudy Gobert. You don't have to be the 5. He could play the 4. And, all Cat got to worry about is offense when he's playing the 4, and let Mitchell Robinson be that last line of defense. So that's what I'm waiting on. I'll wait on that. I'll give that a few games to see how Mitch looks. They're probably going to put a minutes restriction on him the first, several games. As he gets his, feet under him, they'll give him some more minutes moving forward. And if there's a difference in our defense, because our defense is trash, I'm going to just call it, like it is right now. Offense is great. Top 6 offense. Defense is trash right now. And the difference between us and the Celtics and the Cavs and OKC right now, and I'm just saying right now, is not only can they score, but they could defend also. All we could do is score right now, and we're just not putting it on the defensive end right now. So if you ask me, are they ready to beat the Knicks? If they face this version of the Knicks, then I'm not sure the Knicks can get by. But we get Mitch back. Josh Hart comes off the bench. That makes our bench stronger. That unit, I'm taking my team all day against Cleveland. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now. But
so you're not looking at this like Pittsburgh then, because but right now, if you're talking about
what you mean, I'm not looking at it like Pittsburgh. I've said I looked at the past weekend. I'm looking at our games against those teams.
Right, but your overall perspective. I mean, correct me if I misheard you. Your overall perspective though is right now in the Eastern Conference, as far as championship probability, you still got New York over Cleveland though.
Yeah, when Mitch comes back, yes.
All right,
am I missing something here?
Yeah, so you don't see it like Pittsburgh. By the time I'm just saying,
wait. No. I see it like I'm just talking about the games against those teams. I'm just talking about us measuring ourselves against the teams that they've talked about as the top teams. That's what Pittsburgh did,
right?
In those last few games.
But you still
the difference is that there's season left in the next season. There wasn't much season left in the Pittsburgh season. That's the difference. But if you just take that portion out, I'm just strictly talking about the games we played against those top teams so far.
Yeah, I'm saying that when my team played those teams, season was over in my book. season is not over in your book. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine, but don't say that I don't feel like I felt when you felt as far as playing the top teams. I'm just talking about that window of top teams.
But you still think, well, okay. I mean, I don't want to.
No, you're trying to add extra things to the conversation. I'm not. I'm just comparing. I'm just comparing those games the Knicks played against those teams to the games that Pittsburgh played against those teams. That's it. That's all. That's the comparison.
No, you just
it's
said
not.
it's
not moving forward. It's not.
You said you feel how I felt when we played those teams. How I felt when we played those teams is that we can't compete with those teams. You feel like you can still compete with those teams.
Not with this team that we have right now.
But you know that's not the team you're going to have at the end of the season.
Sure, but I still felt that way watching those games. I felt that way watching those games. Is what I'm saying in the moment.
All right, no doubt. And you know, I ain't gonna tell you how to feel. So we gotta say, congratulations to Diana Taurasi, who just retired earlier today. Shout out to Diana Taurasi, she retired. You WNBA aficionado, I probably should let you
aficionado.
Jump in. You are here.
Aficionado is that's a strong word.
You are here.
Of course I'm here. I don't know what that means in regard to me being an aficionado of the WNBA, but
hey man, I take your word over anybody else out here.
But congrats to her. For certain. There were some questions about whether she was really gonna retire or not. It made me think back to when we had Tarika on a few weeks back, and they had just made a trade. The Phoenix Mercury had just made a trade, and you know how Twitter accounts, they announce these trades and then they put these photos of the players in their uniforms aside with who they're going to potentially play with and things like that. I just thought about that one picture where it had Diana Taurasi on there as if they were so sure that she was going to be playing next year. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of funny after, hearing her announce that she was going to retire officially. But, congrats to her. 20-year career, MVP, gold medalist, everything that you can, think about as far as accolades, in the WNBA. I would say that she's in the Mount Rushmore. I know people don't like these kinds of conversations, but Mount Rushmore, she's definitely on that list, if not certainly a part of the conversation for Mount Rushmore of the WNBA. I mean, we've watched about 25, 26 years of this league, and, she's definitely made a lot of impact during her time in the league. So, shout out to her. Whatever she does, moving forward, salute.
Yeah, for sure.
Salute.
Congratulations.
Nothing? You got nothing on Taurasi?
Congratulations. I mean, you said
that's
everything.
It? Okay.
She one of the best for sure.
Okay.
You said everything. I ain't had nothing special about it. That's why I passed it straight to the aficionado, man. That's you, player.
Okay.
I want to get to some messy shit real quick though.
Yeah, go ahead. Steve Smith Sr. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like I kind of thought I saw a tweet that you said basically the Ravens is in the news every week, and I thought that you might have been talking about Steve Smith Sr.
I was.
Okay.
But let's be clear, he's not on the team. He's not an active player. But when these headlines come out, the Ravens name gets attached to it. So
yeah, because he's smashing the band member.
So yeah.
Because the girl is a band member of the Ravens.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, the Ravens all around football team, band member.
I didn't confirm this. Is she currently a band member?
What I read is that she is a band member of the Baltimore Ravens.
Is she currently a band member of the Baltimore Ravens?
What I read, let me pull the article back up.
Because you got to remember, Steve Smith Sr. been out of football for about a decade. So,
oh yeah, but you ain't got to be 22 to play in the band.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm
how you know.
I'm just asking questions, man. I'm just asking questions.
I mean, the answer that you made it seem like that wasn't a good enough answer.
I'm not. No, you're reading off of a headline.
New York Post says that she's a band member of the Baltimore Ravens.
Not former. Okay.
Let me read. Yeah, he who says is a member of the Marching Ravens
currently. Okay. All right.
Well, I said she is. I didn't say she used to be.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So, your thoughts, man? Well, no. Let's lay it out all the way. Tony Martinez goes
the nigga name.
I told you I just read the post. I read the New York Post article. I skimmed through them. I
don't even remember the dude name. So
I don't remember the Twitter handle, but the Twitter handle basically, I guess Saturday he goes off. You know, Steve Smith is smashing my wife. I got receipts. He posts he posts text messages between him and his wife and Steven Smith. Why Trey? Why would a man go to Twitter to tell Twitter that Steve Smith Sr. is smashing his wife that he has 4 kids with?
There's no winners in this situation. Let's be clear. Nobody won in this. So I don't know what homie was trying to accomplish in this situation. Look, man, what a way to put yourself out there. I don't know if you're embarrassed by it, dude. I don't know.
You get sucker of the year award for damn sure. Look, man, it happens, bro. Look, man, if you ain't about to do no Drake R&B song about it, or you know what I'm saying, like this is sucker behavior, and and at least when Drake do it, it's like a nice melody, and you know what I'm saying, in the guise of music, so you could be a little bit more expressive. But for this dude to be out here exposing his situation, it's sucker shit, man. I wish he didn't do it.
Yeah, I wish he didn't do it either. But I mean, what do you, if you're him, like what the hell you getting out of it for? Because like Steve and I guess that was Steve on the phone. Sorry, like what do you expect the man to say, like moving forward? Because he was trying to get more out of him. You could tell by him, staying on the line, he was trying to get more out of him. And it's like, dude, what else do you want homie to say, bro? Like this. And
why are you trying to? I hate this. I hate this behavior. And I say this to my young niggas all the time. Don't be out here trying to check the nigga for a decision that your girl chose. Steve Smith didn't do nothing to this girl, but give her the dick like she consented to get
how she described it in the text message.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like if your girl chose to sleep with somebody, ain't no discussion for you to have unless it's your man's, like your partner. There ain't no discussion for you to have with the dude for real.
Yeah.
Like your girl chose. Like, how you gonna be mad about your girl making a choice? I mean, mad at him about a choice that your girl made.
He trying to, I don't know. I guess he's trying to score points by exposing Steve Smith Sr.
Score points.
Okay. Because guess what? Because even if Steve Smith Sr. wife got, issue with what he did, at the end of the day,
you a snitch.
At the end of the day, that man gonna go live his life. That man got a cushy job at NFL Network, and you just a regular dude. You just
I don't know who this nigga is. Like, you might get your wife fired from her job, man. What are you doing, man?
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens might not like that. Might not like this story.
Well, and that's a good point because I wonder. Look, nobody in the media is going to ask about
Yeah,
that.
this ain't going to be on First Take or nothing. I'm just
Right.
saying.
No, nobody's going to ask about this, but I wonder internally, how do they deal with this?
I don't know how well she plays the trombone. Maybe they don't need her, and
Maybe.
this is the reason to let her go and get a younger trombone player for cheaper.
Maybe, but at the end of the day, because I don't pay attention to the marching band on game days, I'm never gonna know if they got rid of her or she's still there.
I don't know what the girl name is. I don't know what she looked like. I know that allegedly
very basic.
Hey. So what does Tony Martinez look like?
I don't know what he looked like. I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what he looked like.
I'm saying that this. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, they say. I don't know if this is true. They say a man or a person that's married is as faithful as their options. Mm-hmm. And if her option was Steve Smith, you know what I'm saying? Say what you wanted. Like, Steve Smith is a well accomplished, he outside, he getting money, he doing the things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what Tony Martinez does for a living. I don't know what his situation is, but you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, Shorty did her number, and and now you got a choice to make. But you going on Twitter talking about, yeah, Steve Smith smashed my wife sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It sounds absolutely crazy.
Shout out to my guy Derek back home. So I'm trying to see how much you remember Mace's first album. So he posted the video of this guy Tony, talking to Steve Smith Sr. all while playing the skit from Mace's first album. And I don't remember the entire skit from beginning to end, but there was a middle portion of the skit where Mace was on the line with some dude, and dude was like, "Yo, man, don't give my girl your number no more, man."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know how much you remember that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Harlem World was not an album that we was playing down here.
Okay, yeah. Respect.
Yeah.
But that, in an era of when the skit on the album was popping,
Bad Boy in particular, they had
Yep. That was one of them ones, man. But he played that little snippet where dude was like, "Yo, man, hey, don't give my girl your number no more, man, because I know how you and Puff be getting down, man." So
yeah.
So shout out to my homie for that. But hey, man, it doesn't help the Ravens this offseason because it's bad news. And I heard Suggs got into some trouble too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I won't go deeper into it because I think somebody posted a meme of all the things that have happened to the Ravens this offseason with what Justin Tucker's going through. This thing here with Steve Smith Sr. and now Terrell Suggs apparently, had something go on with him back home in Arizona. I think that's where he's from.
I'm about to say, I did kind of want to know what he did. Oh,
yeah.
what he
pleads
guilty to disorderly conduct. I'm sorry, I kind of did want to know. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to.
No, go ahead. I'm waiting for you to finish.
His criminal case stems from a March 2024 incident where Suggs allegedly threatened to kill a motorist and pulled a gun after backing into the driver's vehicle at a Starbucks drive-thru in Scottsdale.
Oh man.
He pleaded not guilty and insisted that the other driver was the instigator. Mm-hmm. On Thursday, he pleaded guilty to a charge of disorderly conduct with a weapon that was reduced to an undesignated offense, meaning he can ask the court to treat it as a misdemeanor. Okay. Suggs was one of the 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class in 2025, but he didn't get enshrinement and probably, even there you go. There you go, man. He pulling guns out on people at Starbucks.
Man, this is
Hey,
crazy. This is crazy.
you know,
this is wild.
How you feeling about SGA becoming his own agent?
I like it. Lamar was his own agent. Currently still is his own agent. I know his mom represents him on several occasions, but I like it. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna back down from that point. Now, I wonder, and he's been in some commercials already, so he's already kind of advertised himself, within some of the products sponsored by the NBA and things like that. So I don't think he's gonna fall into maybe some of those same conversations and narratives that Lamar has from a local perspective in regards to being seen around town on billboards and things like that. I don't know how OKC is, shaped in regard to that. I'm sure they have similar advertisements to where they can advertise their local pro players. We'll see how that shapes out moving forward. But I mean, cats know who SGA is. I mean, league wide, cats know who he is. Locally, I would think at this point, people in OKC gotta feel like, hey, he doesn't need that much, branding for us to know who he is. So respect to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep that money in the family. You know what I mean?
Keep that money in house, man, because it ain't nothing to negotiate. As far as when it's time to re-up contract wise, it ain't nothing to negotiate. He gonna get top billing. And what you need an agent for to go walk in here and say, yeah, what's the max you can give me? Give me that. That's how it's gonna work. He gonna go in there and say, what's the max? What can I get? Give it to me.
Right.
Throw another 20 million on top of what you can give me, and that's what it's going to be, because he's been the one top 5 players since he's I ain't gonna say since he's been in the league, but in the past 3-4 years, he's been top 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, why what you need an agent for? What you need to go in there and negotiate? Give me my money.
Get
all
money.
of it.
Yeah, right.
Plus some extra. I'm
about to win league MVP, and I guess we'll have that topic, some down the line. But for me, it's I want to say it's 2 people in the race. It's him and it's Jokic right now for me.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't prepared to.
How much NBA you've been caught up to?
None, because my life is between schoolwork and the white man busting and music. I've been asleep. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, my life has been uncomfortable.
Oh, God.
And me, I'm a man that likes to sleep, but when I come in this motherfucker tired. But
every damn day,
every damn, like, bro, like, not to turn this into a Maestro bitch show, but man, on the weekends, man, how reassuring it was to not be on my feet for an entire day. Like, Saturday, I didn't just leave my bed.
I saw your tweet. I was like
I felt bad. Like, I felt guilty. Like, yo, you got shit to do.
Give me a day. Give me a day like that.
My body was like, nah, dog. Like, I talked to my kids, and that y'all good. All right, cool. All right, I'll be right here.
Man, I wish I could be you, bro. Like, every time I see you tweet about being lazy, I just sit there and just like, damn, like,
yeah, man.
I gotta run these errands. I gotta, make sure Deb and the kids good. House stuff and stuff that's outside the house. I gotta worry about. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to turn it into a bitch session, but MVP. But in your mind, MVP. But in your minds right now, MVP in your mind between Joker and SGA.
Yes. It's a 2-player race right now for me.
The Wizards won their 10th game the other day, man. So
Hey, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, Cooper Flag is on his way, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Cooper Flag on his way, man. We ain't really get to get into it. But it's on my list. Wemby out and Wemby out for the year. Get well soon. And Pop out for the year. And Pop look like he ain't going to be back this year. So I mean,
is that you insinuating that the Spurs could lose a bunch of games down the stretch? And
for certain.
Okay. I was just trying to make sure I knew where you was going with that.
For certain.
Yeah, and you're not guaranteed, and even if without the Spurs situation, you're not
guaranteed to get them. But also, it's rumors going around. I'm not talking about what I believe or don't believe.
Yeah,
it's talking about rumors.
Yeah,
it's rumors that the Spurs is about to start tanking. That's all because when you look at
De'Aaron Fox is there too,
and they about to pay De'Aaron Fox. Wembanyama going to come back, and then they got a draft pick. Then they still got Vesey and Slim that was all over the All-Star game. Castle. Like they low key might be putting a little roster together on the low. And so I'm just saying the rumor mill is saying that look forward to the Spurs tanking the rest of this season.
Yeah, and Coach Pop get well soon.
Get well for sure.
We don't know if this is the end as far as coaching career is concerned.
And I'm gonna say no.
You think he comes back?
I
hope he does.
Get well, Pop, because they look like they about to put together another squad. Get well, Pop.
I hope he does too. But I think he comes back, and I think he does 1 year, and then I think he might call it quit after that.
Nah, man. I want to see. I want him to be able to coach Wembanyama.
I got you. Yeah. I'm just looking at the reality. He's 76, I think, and
damn.
Yeah. And you coming off of a stroke. That's not.
Yeah. I don't want to put that energy on him unless he.
I'm with you. I think he comes back, but I think he comes back to 1 year, and somebody, maybe Becky Hammond, takes his spot. We'll see. All right. Let's get our guest in here. Sports writer for the Sporting News and Medium.com, and also Footwear News. I forgot to mention Footwear News earlier in the show to open up here. But let's welcome Jael Rucker, sports writer. Jael, thank you so much, for making this time. I know you're busy, coming out of meetings, making your rounds and all that good stuff. So welcome to the show. And how's everything going? You're on mute, by the way.
Well, that's a good start. Well, things are going good. Thanks for asking. How's things with you?
It's going great.
Man, I'm going to smile and say things are okay.
Things are okay? That's great.
Things are okay.
Yeah, I think everybody's just trying to make it right now,
I know that's right.
Yeah, praise them.
Yeah,
for sure. I want to start here, Jael, because I've seen a bunch of your clips and all the interviews you've had with athletes. I saw you interview Snoop Dogg with Steph in a clip, and I've also seen you interview Ashanti just recently. Just give me your thoughts. And I don't want to ask you who was the best interview, but give me one that kind of sticks out to you as far as the history of athletes that you've interviewed over the course of your career.
Okay, so I saw this question and I said I wasn't really going to think about it because I wanted it to be natural.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it goes back to Steph Curry and Snoop Dogg, just getting them both at the same time. That was like a really a big turning point in my career. Just to be invited out there. Because Snoop was opening a basketball court. And that was amazing to kind of go out to Long Beach and just be a part of that.
Okay. Yeah, LBC. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Dope stuff. Go ahead, Maestro.
I was gonna say let's get the history. Let's talk about where you started with how did Jael get here?
It's not a traditional journey. I started off, my very first thing that I ever did was being the sideline reporter for Georgia State University. And I did men's basketball and women's basketball, and then I did like 2 seasons of football. But I believe that I was like for their ESPN 2, like ESPN 3 coverage, I think I was the first sideline reporter. I don't know if there's like another person that's coming after that, but that always sort of meant a lot to me being a Black woman, that I was sort of like the first to ever, like do it in that way. And then COVID happened, and, like it kind of, everything stopped. And so I've always written on the side. And I just decided that I was going to try to like pursue my writing because I just didn't really, and I was open to writing in all areas because like sports was shut down at that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I did not have a job. And, like I just kind of happened to land like my first official like sports writing job. The site isn't really around anymore, but it was supposed to be like an upcoming like sports media website that also focused on hip hop. And I'm just trying to think of the timeline of things, like the best way to describe it. Sort of like a young GQ. And
yeah, I was thinking more like Antscape.
Yeah, maybe a young Antscape.
When you said hip hop and sports kind of blended in together, Antscape is kind of like that.
Yeah, so just a young Antscape. We'll go with that. And from there, I don't know. Like I just kind of started writing on sneakers because it was one of those things where they were like, do you want to write on Nike, the newest Nike release, the newest Reebok, the newest Adidas. And I didn't know much about that. Like I kind of like growing up in New York for like, I knew sneakers is a big culture, but I didn't know if I could write on it. And then like once I started doing it, I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. So it's like one thing just kind of kept leading to the next. And I can say that it's sort of like it's led me to sporting news. So it's led me to footwear news. So yeah, my journey hasn't been traditional. And, I think that's probably because of COVID. So
where in New York you grew up at?
I grew up in Harlem for a little bit. I was born in Harlem. But I don't classify myself as being like a New Yorker, like to a certain point because we moved to Jersey. So I think I'm more of a Jersey girl, but yeah.
But you grew up in New Jersey. I
grew up in New Jersey. I think that's probably the better.
Got it.
But I spent my first several years in New York. Like I knew my Jordans probably before I fully knew my ABCs.
Man.
That's dope.
Okay, random question. Favorite sneaker of all time?
I'm trying hard. You know what?
No pressure. I never read the questionnaires he sends you guys, so I'm always the one to throw it off.
I'm gonna have to go with the Air Force One. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, Jordan this, Jordan that. I just feel like ones in particular, it's just once sneaker kind of entered that culture where it became dominated by influencers. Like, no offense, but it's like I think it lost its touch, so to speak. But the Air Force One was like always. I always liked it. I liked the shape of it. It's actually a very comfortable shoe. And I've worn it, like I've paired it with dresses before.
Yeah.
So like it's a good shoe to like kind of balance out for like I guess a sporty look that's still professional. So
now I wanted to ask Maestro this because the way he reacted when you said it was a comfortable shoe. And I never really thought
you are the first person I have ever heard say that it is a comfortable shoe.
Yeah,
I think it's a comfortable shoe. I think.
Well, now, allow me to age myself a little bit, and Trey, you know where I'm going. In the early 2000s, when Air Force Ones was a super thing, me and Trey were of the ilk of. You can only wear your Air Force Ones one good time before them things creased up And back in them days, if you got creases in your Air Force Ones, then that you can't.
It was time for another pair.
Yeah, it was time for another
Yeah.
pair. So there was a time, and I know Trey can attest to this. There was a time through the summertime where we had easily 4 or 5 pairs in the summertime, just like because like we'll wear them if we ain't going nowhere important. But if we got somewhere to be where we got to be fresh, we can't. You can't do the Air Force Ones with the creases in them. So we had to walk funny, and still kind of look cool with them, what I'm saying, with the Air Force Ones. Now I agree with classic shoe, obviously. If universally, like you can't go wrong with a pair of Air Force Ones. So I ain't mad at your choice. Comfort. I've never heard like you got a different arc in your foot. I have never heard comfortable.
They're not, to me, they're not comfortable, but we wore them because it was the style.
I've walked all day in them. Yeah, I've literally walked all day in them, and it's like my feet weren't hurting or anything like that. That's so I'm surprised that people don't share that sentiment. But I did. You definitely got to swap them out. And the Air Forces are like a special occasion thing for me. Yeah. So, but I replace them like every year and a half. So, yeah. But
I ain't gonna front. I used to get the toothbrush, like an old toothbrush, and soap, and get them things back to white again. I mean, there was a time where times was rough, and I couldn't get that next pair of Air Force Ones, and I had to, scrub them bad boys until it was time for me to, get some bread to get another pair.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had to, I just like, I wear them so like sparingly that I don't have to like worry about it, but I replace them like every so often. The thing is like, I think a lot of people changing the laces, swapping out the laces is a good way to like extend the life of the shoe.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so you can swap the laces out and have like a brand new shoe, like with pretty much.
I agree 100%. So I have questions. I tried to hurry up and life is life, and so I tried to hurry up and get to your article, but I am very inquisitive about your Michael Jackson articles. Can you break them down for us?
Yeah, it's probably like my most passionate work because I started researching the case against him when I was like 15. Because I always believed he was innocent, but like of course when you don't have like the knowledge and the facts to back it up, when you haven't researched something, you always get the people that are like, oh, well, you don't really know these people. You don't really, so I kind of, when I was 15 years old, which was like right in the aftermath of his passing, I was like, you know what, once and for all, I'm going to look into this. And, I'm going to see what happened, and I went into it neutral because I was like, you know what, I might find some things that I don't like, and that's what I said, because I felt like, like to approach that situation, you had to do it neutral, but it didn't take very long for me to be like, oh, okay, like this is what's going on here. Like I see what it is and I see what happened. I see the extortion and the corruption and all of that stuff. So, basically, I put out the articles on Medium like every Monday, but the articles really are just they're the resources because I'm going to release a book next year. Okay. So but I can't put all of the resources in the book. So like if I'm linking to a video or podcast or something like that to for people to have additional resources, obviously that can't be in the book. So it's like it's gonna be when I'm doing the book, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you can direct it to the Medium article, and this is where it's gonna be, and you can find this video if you want to learn a little more information and stuff like that. So that's sort of how it is. The articles coincide with the chapters. So,
and forgive me if I'm about to misquote the title. Are we ready to apologize yet? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, it's how come nobody ever apologizes to
how come? Okay. How come? Yeah. Okay. So essentially, I guess you kind of broke that down. Okay, random Michael Jackson question, because I did think about this, and this is kind of what got me there. Yeah. Better album, Thriller or Off the Wall?
You know what? I gotta go with Off the Wall. I know it's crazy because like
It's not.
Thriller is Thriller,
It's not
but
crazy at all.
I have like a personal connection to Off the Wall because like when I discovered it, it was the summertime and it was just like it was the perfect day from a weather standpoint, just the way that it looked, and I just like blasted it. It's probably like one of the most carefree days of my life. Like it put me in probably like one of the best moods I've ever been
Wow.
in. So yeah.
No, okay. And last random music question. I promise we'll get to sports after this. I saw something online the other day that said on Thriller, "Lady of My Life" is the worst song on the album. Your
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's getting a lot of backlash. I feel like honestly, and there's no disrespect to anybody that works at Rolling Stone. I know I have peers that work at Rolling Stone,
Mhm.
but Rolling Stone has a very racist history. We're just keeping it
Mm.
real.
Yeah, yeah.
Call it
Even
out. Call it out.
even the person that like originally ran it, like the one that had to step down, Jan Winter, I think his name was, is like
Mhm.
he gave an interview and he was just so blatant with it. He said like he did not consider Black artists to be like to have the intellect, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so that just made me wonder about like their entire history because obviously like somebody like a Michael Jackson got to the point where you couldn't deny him, but it
Mhm.
just makes me think of, like at that point, especially when it was rising in like the 70s and stuff like that, like how many Black artists and Black albums got like harsh ratings and it really hurt them
Yeah.
because they were considered like the musical Bible. So,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
like how many of our artists, could have benefited from a Rolling Stone, even just a spread, and they didn't
Yeah.
get it, or, you know, they got a harsh review and that was it. So that's just something that I've started thinking about too. And, like in terms of a story that I may want to tell one day.
Mm.
So
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, well, let's get to sports then. Let's talk about sports. And we coming with it because it's a rumor going around that you are a fan of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are the best team in the East right now. And
yeah.
me and Trey have been having conversations about the Cavaliers in prior weeks. But before we get into the I guess our opinions of the Cavaliers, what's your opinion of the Cavaliers this season?
Well, before you answer that, because I'm trying to figure out the connection. You grew up in Jersey, born in Harlem, you're a Cavs fan. So
Yeah.
what got you rooting for the Cavs?
Well, I mean, like the truth of the matter is I consider both Ohio and Jersey home,
Okay,
like my childhood home because my parents separated. So like I just would be back and forth. So
Okay.
my
gotcha.
mother was the one
Okay,
that lived in Ohio, and that was pretty cool, kind of coming up in the 2000s because LeBron, like from the minute he hit high school, it was just being talked about. So even though we weren't in the Cleveland area, like maybe we were like 3 hours out in Dayton or something like that. I think that's about how far Cleveland is from Dayton. But anyway, it's just he transcended that. He went way
yep.
past Cleveland. So it was always in our newspaper. Like it was always on our
Mhm.
local news, like LeBron, this, like this kid, this 17-year-old, like he's gonna be the next big thing. He's the next this, he's the next that. And so there was a lot of excitement. And then when the Cavs won the lottery, they won the number one pick and it was clear LeBron was going to be the number one pick. It was like, oh, like it was a lot of excitement because, everybody knows the Cleveland curse. Everybody, like
Yep.
everybody knows that. And so it just seemed like it's too good to be true to be getting LeBron. But yeah, I mean, it happened. And so like I just sort of became a fan. I became a fan of it because of LeBron. I'm not gonna front like
I
I
love
wasn't
honesty. I
watching
Because
love
of
I
LeBron.
honesty.
wasn't
Okay,
watching the
okay.
Cavaliers
Because at
before
first it sounded like you were saying you rooted for the Cavs before he got there, but now you saying it's
yeah, no, I
because okay.
I I went there because I was keeping up with LeBron when he was at St. Vincent St. Mary.
Yep.
So like
Mhm.
it was sort of natural, but I ended up falling like in love with the team.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
like to the point where I remain obviously like I've remained a fan. I didn't follow LeBron. Like, you know how some LeBron fans, they follow him everywhere he goes. It's like, weren't you were a Miami fan around like 2013. Now you're a Lakers fan, you know, but no, I didn't follow LeBron to Miami. I haven't followed him to Los Angeles. I still watch him. I think he's, you know, like one of, if not the best to ever do it. But like my affinity, like from a team standpoint, is with Cleveland.
Well, long term, you made the right choice because the New Jersey Nets was going down some hard times. Ended up leaving New Jersey, so you made the right choice there.
Yeah, but you know what? I miss them. I miss it being in Jersey.
Yeah,
you know, like those were some good days with Vince Carter and stuff.
I think you're the first person I've heard that said they missed the Nets in New Jersey.
Yeah, it that is an interesting. That I have not heard that. I have not heard that. That's two times.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's because I've gotten the opportunity to go to Barclays, and it's just, I mean, it's nice. It's everything that you expect it to be, but it's missing that authentic. It's really gentrified now. Like it's missing that authenticity. That you know, like that flavor that it had back when it was in Jersey.
But you know, we say that about the older facilities, that there's something about them that has, you know, the fan appreciation, the crowds and things like that. And the newer stadiums seem to lack that, you know, the real fans. And you know, part of it is we're priced out. Right. And you can say that about the Super Bowl, but you can also say that about regular season games. The actual fan is priced out. Like we can't even get a nice seat. You know, middle section is almost $500 a seat. Like,
and Brooklyn is really gentrified now. It's like it used to have a lot more Black and brown people. It's been taken over by, you know, the elites. So
listen, I was raised in Brooklyn, and I should have said that when we were talking New York. I went to high school about 8 blocks around the corner from where Barclays is. I grew up knowing and remembering that used to be a train yard. Like the whole area used to just be nothing there on that corner. Was always busy. And then right before I left high school, you just started seeing signs of gentrification, and this was back in 2000. Like, they put the Circuit City on the corner. The Models was right there. Like, you can sense that it was coming, but you didn't know when it was fully gonna, you know, develop. And here we are, you know, 25 years later, and it's like Midtown Manhattan. It's crazy.
So I think that is what's missing, like that flavor, and it had it when it was in Jersey. So I mean,
y'all weren't too far removed from a finals. I mean, 7 or 8 years from a you know, when y'all played the Lakers in 2000.
It's
went back finals apperances.
Yeah, you're right.
They played the Spurs in that second finals appearance, if I remember correctly. But yeah, those are some good teams back then, for sure. I think the lasting image of New Jersey Nets, this movie came on just the other week, Just Right, with Common and Queen Latifah. Yeah. Wild stuff, man.
That was so unbelievable. Now looking back at that, Common playing basketball.
Oh, a word.
No, I was watching the other day, Juwanna Man.
But Jael, talk to us about the Cavs and how you feel about them this year.
This year, or
this year?
I'm trying not to. You know, I never get my hopes up. But I told people back in 2022. I was like, you know what? Don't sleep on the Cavs, because we're gonna, you know, like we're a young team and we're building and all that stuff. So, but I think we've got a shot to win it all. I really do. Like, some people have said I'm delusional, but I think we do. I think it would be a dream Eastern Conference matchup for us to play Boston. Boston has that deeper experience. So like, that's where I would probably get a little worried, but I think we do have a chance, you know. I mean, as we all know, like the highest record, the top record doesn't always guarantee you're going to win the championship. So but I think we're gritty. We're a gritty team. So I mean, I think if there's any team that plays basketball the quote unquote old school way, like 2000s old school, not like 80s, 90s, but 2000s,
Yeah.
I think it's us. Like we're not the flashiest team, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like we get the job done.
Yeah. The superstar is flashy though.
Yeah.
The superstar is flashy.
Yeah.
So, well, let me say this. I agree that you guys are in the thick of the conversation, you know what I'm saying, as far as going to the finals in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, the big dogs is the Boston Celtics. But how do you feel? How do you think you guys fare against, say, the New York Knicks?
I think we can take them. Like that's what I'm mentally getting prepared for is, like New York Knicks fans. You're a Knicks fan?
Talk to them. Yeah. No. Just say everything negative you were about to say. Just go ahead and let them know.
You guys are the worst.
Let them know.
Cowboys.
Yep. Get in.
Cowboys fans.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are
let them know.
You guys are the worst to deal with.
Absolute worst.
Here you go agreeing.
No, you can let loose on them.
You go agreeing.
No, let Jael, you can let loose on them. They are the absolute worst. I hate their kind. I hate their kind.
Yeah. Well, he's a Wizard. He's a Wizards fan, so
I don't got nothing to celebrate. So
yeah. You guys win one game and then you act like it's the championship like that you won. Like so.
But wait a minute. Ain't that what fans are about though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But, I mean, I think like I always compare Knicks fans to Cowboys fans, but I have to give you guys credit because it's like no matter what happens, like you guys have this like delusional sense of confidence. Like the Cowboys, for example, every single year, it is something, but regardless, like they'll still Cowboys fans will still come back the next year and be like, we got it.
We going to the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I've never said the Knicks was going to win the title.
No,
okay,
I know what 20 years of bad basketball is like. At least the Cowboys have been, perennially, playoff team, the last 20 something years. Their issue is they can't get to a conference championship since 95. That's their issue. And fans come back every year is, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl, right? Like we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I've never, and I'll speak for me because I don't want to speak for Knicks fans, but I've never said, during the stretch of futility that the Knicks were gonna win the title, even the Carmelo, years. I never said, hey, we're gonna win the championship, right? Like, nah.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. It's been a while, man.
I will shoot bail for Trey because Trey is definitely one of the more objective Knicks fans that I have talked to in ever.
Yeah.
But I brought up the Knicks because the conversation we've been having over the past 2 weeks about the Cavs is they playing good, no doubt, but I don't know. I don't know if they prime time yet. If they got what it takes to do it when it matters the most. Maybe because we haven't seen them yet. It's certainly not nothing against their roster. I mean, their roster. I mean, we talked about what Kenny Atkinson has done coming in this year. We know they look like a better team than they have. And they've been a good team in the past 2 or 3 years. But I brought up the Knicks specifically because in talking to Trey about it, he seems real high on the Cavaliers like you are. And I say, well, yeah, obviously the Celtics, but you saying it like the Knicks wasn't just, we wasn't just talking about them like they was the best, one of the better teams. I mean, just this time last year, we was talking about, do the Knicks have what it takes to actually go to the finals? So I don't know that they leave that conversation just like the way I have it. The power ranking as far as going to the finals in the Eastern Conference for me is Boston, New York, then Cleveland. You can throw whoever else you want to throw in the pot after that.
Milwaukee.
But yeah, like whoever else you want to throw in the pot. But I don't even take Milwaukee serious, to be honest with you. As far as going to the finals. Yeah, but I just wanted to know where you stood as far as, so you think, so in your mind, it sounds like you're saying you got Boston 1, Cleveland 2 as far as finals in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, like being objective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
can respect that.
because Boston has that their championship team.
Yeah.
And I think they just even over the course of like these last several years, it's like, okay, if they weren't dealing with this or if they weren't like up against this, like they could have gotten it. Like they're a very strong team, and I think that's probably where they would get the Cavaliers. I think for like if we matched up against them, it would kind of have to be, we'd have to sneak one out at TD Garden.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
because I was saying earlier that when we were having this conversation last week that Cleveland's a good team, but this could end like how OKC's season ended last year.
Yeah.
Young team, number 1 seed, ran into Luka, and the season was over. But then I kind of had to rethink it again, and I said, you know what? And don't jump out of your seat, Jael, but I'm gonna make this comparison to your team to the Warriors when Mark Jackson got fired.
Yeah.
His last year, and then Steve Kerr comes in. They become the number 1 seed out west, and then they go on to the finals and eventually, win the championship. I'm making the parallel to where you guys had JB for a couple, 2-3 years. Y'all been in the playoffs the past 2 seasons. Y'all finally went around last year.
Yeah.
Things didn't work out. And I to this day, I disagree with the decision to let JB go.
Yeah.
But bringing in Kenny Atkinson, who people have been clamoring to get a second opportunity after the Nets job, he comes in and he's got y'all at the top of the Eastern Conference, number 1 seed. I mean, clearly the best record, in the Eastern Conference, even, 6 to 7 games above the Celtics right now. So
yeah,
I'm drawing parallels between this Cleveland team and that young Golden State team, just in terms of, the change in, and then the rise of the team that first year under that second head coach.
Yeah.
So trajectory wise, I guess.
Trajectory. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Warriors were kind of like rare in the sense where I think Steph, he was dealing with all those injuries at the beginning of his career, but it's almost like when that trend, it's like everything lined up perfectly for them,
Mm-hmm.
like for Steph to just like explode, because he exploded that year too. Because like 2014, we weren't talking about like Steph Curry, but it's like, whoa, who is this kid? Like, who's this guy in 2015?
Yeah, for sure. I get the parallel. I don't necessarily know. I don't see it happening that way. If I'm being honest, but I can see it. But I can see the parallel. I mean, look, Jason Tatum. I just saw something. Jason Tatum already somewhere talking about he don't feel like he being appreciated enough around here. So
that man got LMA. He good.
Well, I mean, I don't know what that got to do with on the court.
He all right, man.
Because look, man. Jason Tatum, look, I think everybody regards Jason Tatum as a top 10 basketball player in the league. I don't think anybody, if you say that, nobody disagrees. But I could, without reading the article, I could kind of guess where he's going. Like, don't nobody regard me as like they say I'm there
as one of them ones.
But the accolades don't hit the same. I don't know if it got something to do with Jaylen Brown being beside him or you know what I'm saying, or what. But it we don't talk about him like we don't talk about Jason Tatum the way we talk about Anthony Edwards. And I'm not saying, I'm not here to say who's a better. I know Jason Tatum deserves that same type of
personality. I think in the end, it's all about the personality. And with Jason Tatum, and I like Jason Tatum,
but I mean,
he don't give off that that dog, the way Anthony Edwards gives off that dog.
But ain't nobody gonna say Jason Tatum not a dog neither, though.
Right. I agree with that. But I'm just saying it doesn't come off that way. It doesn't appear that way, where you see it in Ant-Man, you could clearly see, oh yeah, this dude a dog. And he plays like it on the court. Tatum for sure plays like it on the court. But if you look at that man's accolades, how many times this dude been in the conference finals since he got to Boston?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's been a great run. I mean, and he's only 26 years old. It's crazy. I think they only missed the conference finals once in his career there.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think you're right.
The accolades are crazy, and I agree with him. And you don't get the love that
Yeah, like we should be talking about him in conversations with the best in the league if you're basing it off what he's done in the league.
Yeah.
And we just don't. We just don't. And I don't know if he's looking to make his case on against Cleveland in the playoffs, but I'd be concerned I won't say concerned, but I would definitely put it in the back of my mind that if they have to see each other in the playoffs and all of a sudden he's averaging 38 points in the series, I'm gonna remember this headline. I'm definitely gonna remember this headline.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, he put on a show against us the other night. I mean, yeah, it's a rough one. It's a rough one for the Knicks, despite their record. But they got reinforcements coming, so we'll see about that. So Jael, how do you see? Just casually asking as regard to the Western Conference, how do you see the West kind of playing out?
I don't know. The West, everybody is always like, there's always been that joke about the Eastern Conference for a long time, like the Leastern. I'm just not impressed with the West. Honestly, I'm not, and I guess this is probably a whole different topic, but I'm almost like checked out of the regular season because I'm just like, what's going
on? Waiting for April.
I'm waiting for April. Like the I would say the All-Star game was like the final straw. So
like, no, that shit on the All-Star game. How did you feel about the weekend?
I mean, the NBA's got to figure something out. They got to figure something out because this is not like what happened to the game I love, because that's not. I remember the All-Star game. Kobe used to take that seriously.
Yeah,
like Kobe took that seriously. He was not happy if they lost. Like it was not but it's like it's just fun and games, and people don't want to play. I thought LeBron was going to play, then that was all of a sudden out, and it was a mess. But probably the most entertaining thing was like Chris Paul and Wemby trying to cheat.
Like
maybe that was the most entertaining part of the weekend for me. But even still, it's like, guys, that's just so ridiculous.
So do you think are you of the belief that they should start paying money to winning teams at the All-Star game? Would you think that'll get them to play?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, these are people making millions. I mean,
so you're gonna have to fatten like $1 million for the winning team per player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is they have to do, but I mean, they're gonna have to figure out something. It's just like there's so many like, oh, I'm not playing today. I don't feel like it. I got stuff to do, and it's not playing basketball, and I'm just.
What do you accredit that to? Who do you accredit that to? And I'll tell you what people say in my 40-year-old circles. They say that this happened because, let me just say it, LeBron. It's LeBron's fault. And older folks say that LeBron ushered in the AAU friendships. Where everybody's friends, and it's less about basketball and it's more about business and making all the money you can make to further your family legacy, but not necessarily is where we care more about off the court than on the court, and on the court is just a avenue to build family wealth.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard because I feel like LeBron was such a competitor, like I feel. Yeah, I feel like he came in and he was such I think people forget like those first several years with Cleveland, like he was hungry, like he wanted it. And I know a lot of people feel a certain kind of way about the Miami days. Like, but I think there was a certain, like, it was kind of special too. It was almost like they were the villains and you hated them, you know? And then when they didn't, when they lost, like, against Dallas, you know, like everybody just wanted them to fail. So I mean, I kind of like go back to that 2012 game 6, you know, Heat versus the Celtics, like how he had to like really lock in. But I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that like where those types of performances anymore. It's just,
I mean, and then really to add to your point, who do you really see it from? Like who gets so involved competitively in NBA games now where, you know, I genuinely don't like this person on the other side. Like we are legit enemies. And
the closest person to me is Giannis. I mean, and that might be an understatement, but when you ask him questions about, you know, what he does in the off season, because you know how players like to, you know, work out, you know, they go out to certain places, they'll work out, you know, they'll shoot, you know, shots up and stuff like that. Giannis is like, yo, I ain't trying to be your friend and stuff. I want to beat you. That's the closest thing I think we got to it. The difference is that Giannis don't play with that same intensity the way LeBron played,
and he really
going
friendly.
Back to them Heat days.
And he's really friendly. I mean, I don't know him as a person, you know, as personally, but Giannis, look, outside of the fact that he's bigger than most people on the court, he played friendly. Like I don't like the most. I forget the last fight I seen on it, but I know it was a few weeks ago. We saw a fight in an NBA game, and
plenty,
yeah, like we don't see that anymore. Like Kobe Bryant was one of the best players to ever play this game, and even he caught the 2-piece from Chris Childs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just doesn't exist in this game anymore. And if it like, I remember.
But how much do you think it has to do with guys not wanting to mess their money up?
I think it has more to. I don't think it has any. Well, I ain't gonna say anything to do with them messing the money up. I think that these guys are really friends. Like they really hang out with each other after practice and on the off season and those things. And I don't think that happened as much. Like I remember the All-Star game in, I want to say it was 2000, the Steph Marbury versus Kobe, when they just kept going back down, shooting threes back and forth like that. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't exist. There, like. The most competitive player in that All-Star tournament, whatever you wanted to call it, was Wembanyama, and they like that still got overshadowed by Steph Curry going half court shooting threes.
Yeah, it was a disappointment. The funny thing is, I was actually having a conversation with my friend just last week. We were going in to see Captain America, and she, you know, like the subject got on Kobe. And she doesn't watch basketball, but she knows that I did, because like I would say Kobe is it's tough because like LeBron is one of my favorite players of all time. Like the Cavs are my favorite team, but Kobe's like my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
like Kobe is how I got introduced to basketball. So she was asking me, she was like, did Kobe have a lot of friends? Because he seems like he didn't. You know, I was like, no, you're on the money. He did not have a lot of friends, like at least not in the NBA circle, you know. But I think, you know, maybe as he was getting closer to retirement or, you know, like in the aftermath of his passing, there's been a lot of like, you know, like it's changed, but people didn't like Kobe. Like that's the real deal. Like Kobe,
I didn't like Kobe.
A lot of people didn't like Kobe. Kobe and Paul Pierce beefed. Shaq and Kobe beefed. You know, his teammates kind of like when Shaq said like there's no I in team, and he was like, yeah, but there's an M-E like me. That was Kobe. That was Kobe.
I you know, for better or for worse, I don't know if it's good or bad for the league, but people who feel like I want to be a legend in this sport, and not just because I put up the numbers, but because the aura that I present when I'm on the floor, the attitude that I bring to the floor, to interviews, to practice, all those things, that seems to be a lost thing. For whatever reason. And look, I'm sure NBA players who put their blood, sweat, and tears since they was kids would have something different to say. But, you know, from somebody who watches it with their eyes, and I've seen Jordan and I've seen Kobe, And I've seen LeBron, and LeBron is great. Let's not get it twisted. LeBron is great and one of the greatest players to ever do it. But to sit here and like Mamba mentality is a thing for a reason, and we're not talking about that. We don't have that type of saying with LeBron James. I don't know what his saying would be, but it wouldn't be nothing of Mamba mentality, and to know that Mamba mentality, his whole thing, that stemmed from Michael Jordan. Like it ain't no another way to slice it. His whole how he presented the game, it stemmed from Michael Jordan. He wanted to be better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You could tell, like when he and because every so often I go back to The Last Dance, because I honestly think that is one of the best docuseries of all time. And I'm not just saying that; it's just it really is. Like the way it was presented. I'm not sure if it'll ever be topped in terms of a sports docuseries. I mean, the OJ was pretty good.
Yeah,
that's saying something. Wow.
Yeah, and I love OJ, by the way. Rest in peace, OJ.
Okay,
that's saying something. Wow.
But no, I agree. Last Dance was good. It was really good.
It was good, but the way she said that there might not ever be another sports documentary as good as this one, that's saying something.
Because it's like they saved everything. It's like it's purposely. I feel like I've heard some of the greats, not just in sports but in general, like they document stuff as they're going. Like there's certain things that they will. Like they'll shoot, they'll catch on camera. There's certain stories that they will not tell, and they save it for like the perfect moment to tell it.
Yep.
And that's just kind of like what it feels like. Like the whole Dennis story, like how he was chasing him around. I don't think, to my knowledge, that was my first time hearing that. I'd never heard that before. And I think they're supposed to be like trying to turn that into a movie. So, but that was a wild night.
I think the wild thing one of the wild things that I took from the documentary was that Jordan had that Kenny Lattimore 98 album in his rotation, because they were playing music from that year, the final year that the Bulls won that sixth title, and they was playing Days Like This from Kenny Lattimore. It's like, oh wow, okay.
Well, what sticks out to me, and I guess kind of more pertinent or relevant to the conversation, is like Jordan used to make up stories in his head in game to have reasons to turn up. Like I forget the cat who played for the Bullets back in the day, and he was having a good game. He wasn't trash talking or nothing. He was just having a good game, and Jordan made up in his mind this was that the dude said something about him, or something, and then turned up in the second half and not only shut that Bullet down, that Washington player down, but then turned up in the scoring. And then I just got finished watching somebody on Instagram yesterday, somebody who played for the Grizzlies when they back in the Vancouver days or whatever. And the dude was, he said something to Jordan, like, I guess Jordan was shooting bad, 10 minutes left in the game. And he said to Jordan, hey man, your shit just ain't falling. With 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And in that next 10 minutes, he scored 24 points. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, like that type of mentality. And I'm sure, maybe when we, as time go past, you'll hear some of these stories about some of these players doing these types of things in this era of basketball. I doubt it, but I feel like if that was the case in this social media world, we would be finding out about these types of stories. But you don't hear these stories of delusion that Jordan had to present in order to motivate himself to be that guy in games when he wasn't, hitting all the way. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear these stories. And I believe that social media in the world we live in, if these things were happening, we'd be hearing about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to take somebody who kind of has that same attitude that's not really like money driven like that. Like they take what they take and they make what they make, but they're not. It's not all about the money. And I think they're going to have to be a little bit crazy too. Because Jordan and Kobe, they had a little bit of craziness to them.
And it's funny because Jordan did say a long time ago, hey, the more this money starts to grow as the years go on and the league gets bigger, it's going to be a thing where guys care just a little bit more about the money than they do about just having the love of the game. And it turns out, some of that is right. But when you said that Kobe took a lot of that mentality from Jordan, I think about the day Kobe died and everybody had their reactions to him passing away and thinking about some of the things that Kobe may have, taught them along the way. Like, I'll give you an example, like a Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was one of those guys that talked about adopting the Mamba mentality. Devin Booker was another guy that talked about adopting that Mamba mentality. And it's like we see it. It's like we see it when we watch them play skill-wise, but we don't see it when it's like when it get down to it, when you really need a performance from one of them guys, they don't turn up for it.
You know who I think has it, and it's like things have sort of worked out. I think Kyrie has it. Because Kyrie's not really about that, like especially in recent years, like he's changed a lot. But Kyrie, I'll forever say that I think he, like from a skill standpoint, like he is one of the most skilled basketball players in the league. Like he's probably, I'll call him the craftiest player in the league.
For sure.
He's
definitely the best ball handler.
Yeah. And he doesn't have any kind of fear. I mean, because I remember like going back to that 2016 championship, I just knew they were going to set something up. Like he was going to, like for LeBron to cut in, and just kind of go for the layup or something like that. But Kyrie took that and he took it confidently and made it, and like there was no fear, no hesitation, nothing, and that was his first finals, like in that situation, playing a 73-9 Golden, State team on the road. You're trying to come back and, from just, I don't know, like that's just because he had gotten injured back in 2015. So he didn't get the chance to really play beyond a certain point.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I think Kyrie's got it. He's got that mentality, but I think other things over the years have sort of like overshadowed that. But,
that kind of really speaks to kind of what we're saying, because like, okay, and let's be clear, I love Kyrie, respect his personal belief systems, and the fact that he'll step out and deal with social issues, but Jordan ain't had time for these social issues, man. Kobe ain't had time for these social issues. We I'm here to play basketball. I ain't got time. And maybe it's because social media wasn't a thing back then, where you're not gonna, Kobe Bryant didn't have a reason to post on Twitter, a book, books and fighting the system against Nike and all those things, even though he did have his battles with Nike. You know what I'm saying? But it just seemed like this new, and maybe it's social media. It just seems like these dudes got a whole lot of time for shit that ain't basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could say that, but at the same time, that's where that gets criticized of them as well.
Yeah,
like not speaking up on certain things, not being as proactive on certain things. So I mean, I think it just kind of comes down to, like, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history too, So I mean.
And I mean, I agree. That's a great point. I guess it just kind of, what do you as a person, and it's an individual conversation, but what do you value more? Like, what do you value from your basketball players more? Like, is this truly just more of an entertainment thing for you, or upon, when you reach a certain level of celebrity, is it your responsibility to take to give your opinion on social issues? You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop you real quick.
Go ahead.
How accurate is that though when we have Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali is an outlier, but I think I think he's an outlier. But I also think times were so different then where literally he couldn't drink the same water from the same water fountains, and that type of thing. He couldn't go to the same restaurants, and I think it's a different time then, where look, racism still exists, but at least we're being a little more closer to being treated like a human being nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So
slight changes, over the years, slight changes in terms of,
like, Muhammad Ali had to be Muhammad Ali for Kyrie to be Kyrie type of thing. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but when Ali got in the ring, Ali was I say he's an outlier because when he got into the ring, he was undoubtedly the greatest to ever do it. And that's just what it was. So he was able to be the greatest and then still go out the ring and be who he was, outside the ring. While we believe that Kyrie is a skilled basketball player, for whatever reason, scheme, height, weight, competition, we don't look at Kyrie Irving as the best basketball player in the game, in addition to hit the stances that he takes outside of and then to be honest, a lot of people didn't agree with his stance on COVID. I mean, it's just calling a spade a spade. He was vilified for it. He was vilified for posting that book. He was disciplined for posting that book on Twitter. Regardless of how you feel about it, he was vilified for that. So I mean, it's kind of, I don't know how history will look at it and define his legacy, but certainly in the immediate circumstance, he was vilified for those things, and he's trying to course correct now, it would seem like.
Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised not Kobe, Kyrie is still playing, because when he was in Cleveland, they used to do the road tripping podcast with like the sideline reporter. Sometimes LeBron would join in too, but Kyrie said he was gonna Lauryn Hill it, kind of leave before 30 or right after 30, So for him to be past 30, like going on 33, I think, and still playing, I'm a little bit shocked because I really thought he was going to be out by 30.
Being married and having kids too, I think, those are life things that happen as well. Those are changes in your life too. So I think his perspective has, over the course of the years, changed because of that. I mean, he's evolving. I think, just to kind of put it in a nutshell, I think we see the evolution of Kyrie as we see him today because of those things that he went through in Brooklyn. And now that, he's a family man and he's taking that more seriously, you're seeing him evolve as a person, and you're seeing that. So
for sure. Okay, well, we first of all, let's say we appreciate you coming on the show, and but we definitely want to do the most. This is no pressure, but pressure absolutely involved. This is our favorite segment of the show. Not really, but we do enjoy this part of it. We do enjoy this part of the show, and we look forward to posting it and seeing the backlash. We want you to name your top 5. What are we doing, Trey? Top 5 Cavaliers?
Top 5 Cav players.
Top 5 Cav players of all time. This is your list. Don't feel any pressure to succumb to what you think people may say. Your list, top 5.
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to think too hard about it either because I wanted it to be authentic.
Absolutely.
So number 1 is obviously LeBron.
Yep.
No argument.
Number 2 is Kyrie. But I'm not going to sit here and say like Mark Price. And so I didn't grow up watching him. So I mean,
I don't expect you to say Mark Price. I don't.
And grow up watching him. So I if people are looking for that, like I grew up in the 2000s. So
I don't want to hear you say Terrell Brandon. Like I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear those names.
So number 3, I would have to go with Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Okay.
Because like Z was just like, he meant a lot. And he was one of those players where he was quiet, but his contributions were big. Like it wasn't a big thing, it wasn't a flashy thing, but he was sort of like he was the silent difference maker.
Yep. Yeah.
See, this is kind of hard because okay.
Feel like
if I'm trying to do the battle of like the hype, like the ones that can kind of like come in and just change the game, like the popular crowd ones, and I'm stuck between Anderson Varejao. The fan favorite. I'm stuck between Anderson Varejao and Iman Shumpert.
Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, I got to go.
I mean, I know what you're. I know. I'm sorry. I just intruded in your list.
Yeah. But then you know what? This might throw people off. I'm gonna go with Damon Jones.
That's not crazy. That's not crazy at all.
Yeah.
That's not crazy. Like if you would have with Damon Jones or Mo Williams, that wouldn't have been crazy.
I was thinking Mo Williams. I was even thinking Larry Hughes for a while there too.
Yeah, Larry. No disrespect to Larry, but he used to grind my gears sometimes. He used to frustrate me. I felt like he would make a little boneheaded play sometimes. But I mean, I do like Larry Hughes.
Yeah.
But I just go back.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because I go back to Damon Jones, like just making that clutch shot, and so I don't know, but maybe Mo Williams, too. That's tough, but I think I'm gonna go with Damon Jones.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because the reason why I don't knock any of those 2 point guards at 5 is because look, we know that LeBron James is a ball handler. We aware, but there is a level of skill that it takes to be a secondary ball handler that starts. You know what I'm saying? Like you're expected, like you come in and you say, I'm a point guard, and you think you're the guy that's supposed to always bring the ball up and kind of run the offense. And you know what I'm saying? When you have to be, you still have to be consistent. Even when you spoke about Ilgauskas, I'm sorry. Like just guys who just stay in their role and do their role at a high level consistently for years on, like those types of guys are imperative when you're talking about a superstar like LeBron James. So it's like those types of players. You can't really go wrong with that when you got a generational talent like LeBron James. So definitely that point guard. I mean, I even think about when he went to Miami, like a underrated guy that career wise. Mario Chalmers is a guy you really got to talk about as a secondary ball handler, because I get it. LeBron likes to handle the ball because he does it well, but when it's in your hands, you still have to run the offense, and it has to be efficient. And those point guards that kind of have secondary ball handling roles, I think they're important to a basketball team for sure.
Yeah. And Damon Jones, for what it's worth, he was an assistant under the Cavs under LeBron's second, run in Cleveland. So I'm not mad at that at all. And I thought about Mo Williams too. I said she's gonna say Mo Williams, and I could kind of respect that because he was there. For both runs, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He was there for both runs there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't say Keisha Cole's ex.
And then I think like Dwayne Wade and Ben Wallace, I count them as like experiences,
Right. Yeah.
Derrick Rose. Yeah, those are.
But no Kevin Love, and I'm not mad at it, by the way, at all.
Yeah, I was going back and forth between like Kevin Love and Z. I mean, Kevin Love guarded the heck out of Steph after Kyrie hit that three. So I mean, but I definitely have Kevin Love in my top 10, but I just don't know if it's just Z means a certain.
Yeah, I get
sure.
it.
I
get it. Didn't they retire his jersey?
Yeah, I believe they did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Kevin Love isn't a top 5 Cavalier to me. So if we talking about Minnesota, cool, but Cavaliers, no. It's more about, like you say, I look at Kevin Love more of an experience, not because he wasn't there long enough, but just because it's like, you know, in between injuries and those type of things. I don't think he had the career in Cleveland that, especially if you compare it to his career in Minnesota, outside of the obvious championship. But
yeah, which is crazy because he stayed beyond, you know, that LeBron and Kyrie, you know, breakup and stuff. He stayed beyond that. He was on the team a couple years ago, but he got traded. I think
he got traded,
like mid year to Miami. I think,
yeah,
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. I'm still, you know, like I think that'll always be a what if, you know, with Kyrie, you know, because that press conference that he gave right after like we lost to the Warriors, that was very personal. Like you could tell he meant everything that he said in terms about like LeBron and playing with LeBron and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if we'll ever really know like what went down in those, what was it, 3 weeks? You know, like I'm not sure, you know, I really believe, I know it was like just
should be a hell of an ESPN doc, that's for sure.
I was just about to say it's
always
gonna come out
State with Kevin Durant on it, you know, and in the long-term future. And I think they were trying to explore everything. And that rumor of him being put on the trade, you know, like the trade mill, and him being like, no, you're not going to disrespect me like that. Like, I can believe that, you know? And then obviously when you think something like that happens, because everybody think LeBron, you know, well, LeBron has to know. Like he has to, I mean, I would probably be thinking about that too. Like, well, did you know? Like you tried, like you were okay with this. So I really think that's how it went down.
I agree.
We'll get it onto a sports documentary one day. Maybe 10, 15 years from now. Jael, this was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Just wanted you to go ahead and let the audience know where they can find you at on social media and some of the things you got coming up.
Okay, well, you can find me. It's my last name and my first name on Twitter. And then it's just my regular name, like Jael Rucker on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. And then coming up, like we're going to be doing some fun stuff with sporting news. It's just like March Madness, a lot of March Madness things that are kind of going on. I'm sure there'll probably be some shoe drops, some sneaker drops coming, some partnerships, things to cover. And so I'm excited about the games.
Flu games come out next week.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go.
And then
all right, Jael. All right, Jael. Hey, this was fun. Thank you so much for your time. And you know, we look forward to seeing what else you got coming up out there.
Cool. Does this? It says it's live. Does it go? Are you guys gonna post it?
Yeah, it'll be posted. It'll be posted tonight, and the on demand on DSPs will be out tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep,
all right, well,
we on YouTube, so we're
cool.
We're gonna be all over the place. All right.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys.
Absolutely. Be safe. See you in the internet streets.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. Good stuff from her. Again, medium.com/@Jael Rucker is where you can find the Michael Jackson series that she's writing, and that eventually she'll get that book out next year. Looks like some dope stuff coming out of there. Also sporting news and footwear news. So check that out.
Green Bay is hating on the tush push.
Yep. But I'm not surprised.
Were you surprised it was Green Bay?
You know, I didn't give it much thought in regard to who the team was. I always knew somebody was gonna, you know, challenge that in the, you know, in the competition committee, but I didn't think about what team it would be. I just, you know, I just figured somebody was gonna be, and I you know, I love how Ryan Clark reacted to it. It's like, oh, we're not strong enough. We can't stop the tush push. And it's like, and I agree with him. Look, find out your defensive guys, your defensive coaches, figure that shit out. Figure it out, folks. Because I tell you what, and not to compare the Eagles offense to the Bills offense, but Kansas City got that stop, even though I thought he got the first down. But hey, they got the stop.
I mean, and even and then also we know that Josh Allen don't do it like Jalen Hurts do it. So
nope,
pause.
not at all. Not for real. but yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts about Green Bay and how they
I saw the headline that somebody was challenging, to get it banned, and I tried to think about briefly who could it be. I thought for certain it was going to be like Kansas City. I did think Kansas City. I did think like the Cowboys, Commanders.
NFC. It had to be NFC foes that regularly see each other.
But
kind of a thing.
But Green Bay does expect to see Philly in the playoffs in these up and coming years with the team they got in Green Bay and the team that Philly has.
And don't forget, they opened up the season against them in Brazil, and then they got them in the wild card. So they had a chance to see it 2 times.
And Farlington, I don't remember who won that week 1 game, but
Philly won.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Philly won.
I bet
and I think not to cut you, I think because of this coming out, shout out to my guy OJ Spivey, because we were trying to figure out who's gonna open up in Philly, week 1 against the Eagles. I kind of jokingly said, if you want to twist the knife even further, you could throw the Giants in there just to, hang the championship banner in their faces. Saquon Barkley's there, that kind of a thing. But I think now, because of this whole thing, I mean, if you want to get your popcorn ready, Green Bay at Philadelphia week 1 to open the season.
I ain't gonna hold you though. I mean, sure, depending on how juicy you think this news is. But I mean, Commanders Philly week 1 is a hell of
of course.
That's a hell of a game.
Options. There's options for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, Cowboys. I mean, you could go Cowboys too. I mean,
if you're just basing it off recent NFL history, Commanders Eagles week 1 is it's going to go crazy.
Of course,
it's going to go crazy.
Of course. I mean, you could throw Detroit in that conversation.
Yeah, too, sure.
But Commanders and Eagles, I like that more. But for me, if you want to really get if you want to twist the knife and be petty, you could throw the Giants on there.
Yeah.
just to rub it in their faces. I just got a couple things. We kind of briefly talked about this before we got on. This Cameron versus Ocho Cinco thing that's been going on. So earlier today, Cameron is on his show. He goes in on Ocho Cinco for about 2-3 minutes, basically talking about that he don't rock with Ocho Cinco. This was going back to when Ocho did Stephen A's show and talking about how we got an enlargement surgery of some sort. And Cam just kind of went in. But then he also said that Chad never rocked with them from the beginning when Cam and Mace first started the podcast. Chad said, like, I guess this is, when Cam Mace first came out with their show. Hey, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get my money up, and then I'm going to just go take over Cam's spot. And Cam is like, yo, why you want to take my spot? I'm just a rapper just trying to get into, the sports arena thing, whatever. So I guess the thing for me is that Cam had a chance to kind of clap back at him when Chad first said that. So when he started going on him today, I was like, wait, did Ocho Cinco say something recently? Which, I found out he didn't. But I guess that kind of took Cam back to, when he first started doing this sports thing and just decided, I'm just gonna go in on homie. And look, this is a history. Like anybody, Melissa Ford, I forget homie name that has the hip hop podcast, the light skinned dude.
Elliot Wilson.
Yeah, Elliot Wilson. Anybody that had anything negative to say about Cam will come back the following morning and go 5-6 minutes on him and just empty the clip.
Yeah. So I ain't got nothing to say. This is Cam behavior, and
Right.
to be honest with you, like they asked him a question about how he felt about the whole conversation with Stephen A. And he decided, instead of talking about another man getting his dick enlarged, he decided to talk about how he don't like him. And I ain't got no problem with it.
So that's how the conversation started.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stat came in and
Okay.
was like, yeah, Slim said he got his dick enlarged.
How
do you feel about it? And then he was like, then he went in.
Perfect setup, though.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, why is you talking to another man about your dick getting, like he did start with that. Why are you talking about telling another man about your dick? He did all that, and and
do you think Ocho was playing around when he said I'm coming for Cam's spot?
Oh no, I no.
Okay, because I didn't. You thought he was serious?
I think he was dead serious. Who don't want Cam spot?
Huh?
Well, Cam for not for nothing. Like, sure, there's the obvious, the first takes and those types of things. But if you're talking about YouTube sports shows, the only thing that might be bigger than Cam is Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I'll disagree in a sense that Cam just got started at the time Ocho said that. And I think,
but let's be clear, not to cut you off, but to cut you off. When Cam first started, he was the hottest thing. He was the hottest thing. They was the hottest shit. Yeah,
sure. No disagreement there. I'm just saying, like, I guess for me, Ocho historically has said some funny things and has played around with some folks. So if you're taking history into consideration here, I might have said, "Oh, he was just playing when he said he gonna come take Cam's spot."
Well, to be clear, Cam, when that was said to him, Cam didn't address it. They said, "Leave it alone. It ain't that serious," and he didn't address it, right? So, then as Cam goes to tell the story, he said, "All right, well, let me go holler at." He got on the phone with Ocho Cinco.
Yeah.
With what I'm saying, hey, whatever their conversation was, but hey, I got some money for you. Come work with me. He told him no. He told him he got to talk to his agent. And Cam said, "I'm talking to you. What do I got to talk to your agent for if I'm talking to you?" And he said he don't do business that way. And then, sometime later goes and does a deal with Shannon Sharp. Or partners up with Shannon Sharp. I don't know what they. Obviously, we don't know what none of these folks' business is or nothing. But I could see him saying, "Oh, well, what was it about Shannon Sharp that you ain't fuck with me, but you fuck with Shannon Sharp? And I know that you said that you trying to take my spot. So did you not want to work with me because you was trying to take my spot, and then you partnered with Shannon Sharp to try to take my spot?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see how that played off.
You could see it both ways though too. I think you make a good point, but I think you could see it both ways also, because I mean he's on Shannon's. I mean, let's be clear. Nightcap is Shannon's platform. I don't care what anybody says.
And it's not Ocho Cinco's platform. So what I'm saying is that you chose one platform over the other. Just so happens the platform you didn't choose, you made a tweet prior saying that you are going to attempt to take that platform's spot.
And why not say, "Hey, I'm gonna come for Shannon's spot"? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think Shannon had Nightcap at that time. I don't think.
Well, it didn't have to be Nightcap because he was still doing Club Shay Shay. But
I think, and what Club Shay Shay does is a completely different platform to what Nightcap does, though. So we can't compare Club Shay Shay to Nightcap. Those are two different platforms.
I thought you was trying to say you can't compare what Shay Shay does to what Cam does.
No,
you can't compare those two either. I think those are
right. Well, sure. Right. But the point is that Nightcap talks about sport events. I mean, sure, they talk about other things, but it's drawn on sporting events and things that happen in sports. Club Shay Shay doesn't do that. So you chose, meaning Ocho Cinco chose to go to this platform that talks about sporting events and things that happen in sports.
Yep.
As opposed to going to this platform who offered you bread first.
Mm-hmm.
And even in lieu of you saying you was trying to take his spot, he still came to you and said, hey, come get some money. Instead of trying to take my spot, come get some money, join the team, and come get some money. You declined or said or curved them. This is what you really did. You curved them.
Yeah.
And then said, I curved you because I said what I said about you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Cam, I'm saying like, oh, he really want to take my spot, because you could have just linked up and we could have just been getting money together. But you made a decision to go to another platform that's in competition with the platform you turned down.
So question for you.
Yes.
What if he took the job at Cam's spot? Would we be saying the same thing as, oh, he was serious, he wanted to go for Cam's spot?
No, it would mean that they had a conversation, and as opposed to trying to take over his spot, we'd be trying to join together and get this money together. Because Cam's whole thing, like he said in his monologue, was, "Hey, what you coming for me for?" Like, and then it's like, and again, and I mean, just how he's explaining it, it kind of lines up. What you coming instead of coming for me? What you coming for me for? Instead of coming for me, come with me, no homo, and come get this bread.
Yeah. I think Ocho is doing well for himself from a financial standpoint. I mean, even like during his playing days, all the stories you heard about him not tipping well, like when they would, go out to eat and stuff like that. Like, I get the sense that Ocho Cinco knows how to deal with his money, on a professional level. So
I'm not going to assume. I don't know. But it's just because your money is good don't mean you have enough money to put together the type of production that Cam put together. So the tweet still holds kind of like lines up, like it makes sense, because he's saying, let me get my money up. So even though I'm good financially, don't mean I'm able to put up $250,000 to put a set together that Cam did to put his set together.
I'm gonna bet that Ocho could have invested in this with his own. I'm gonna guess and say, look, this dude's made money over his course of his career as a football player. It's just me, Trey Frazier. I have a hard time believing that Chad Ochocinco can't afford to start his own platform, build his own studio, production the way that Cam has it. I'll just leave it like that.
Okay, and I'll make my point because we run out of time, and I'll leave it here.
Yep.
Chad Johnson has been on Brandon Marshall's show. He's been on everybody else's show but his own. And then he puts out the tweet, I'm gonna get my money together and take his spot. I'm only reacting off of his actions. His actions. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It's one thing to go join Brandon Marshall's show, leave, and then build your own studio. He didn't do that. He left and then joined another team.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So sure, you're saying he got the money. I'm saying maybe not. I don't know. Nobody knows, but I'm saying it leans.
Right. Nobody knows.
It leans more for me. I'm going to say he didn't have the money because he said he didn't have the money and because he didn't do what he wanted to do. He joined another team instead of starting his own team.
Yeah. Well, what I will do is I will watch Nightcap tonight. And if he's got something to say to address this, then I'll, fully listen to it, hear what he has to say. And, he might change my mind about, how this whole thing played out or how I feel about it. So we'll see. We shall see. Just want to say congrats to all the finalists for the Basketball Hall of Fame. You got Melo, Billy Donovan, Dwight Howard, Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Sylvia Fowles, just to name a few of the people here. Mickey Arison as a contributor. I think one of the crazy things about this list, they also list Danny Crawford, the former referee. I didn't know referees were inducted into a Hall of Fame for anything.
No,
I don't know if you've ever heard of such a thing either.
Mm-mm.
But but Danny Crawford is a finalist for the Basketball Hall of Fame. So
for sure.
I thought that was interesting.
Congrats to everybody.
Yep. Congrats. Much deserved for sure with the names that I've named and the ones that I left off. Congrats to them also.
Yeah.
For sure. Got to give a quick shout out to Courtney Harton in the IG live chat.
What up?
Got my guy Sean Sims in the Facebook live chat.
Yes,
here.
sir.
And Jael Rucker coming through with, with some knowledge and, and all that good stuff. Continue to follow us on these platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Subscribe to us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Click that like button on the Facebook page. And if you got questions or any comments, just hit us up on the email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So another week in the books, bro. Can't wait to do it again next week. Love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh, yeah, we got him. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro styles, we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.